Hello, everyone. This is Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister. Welcome to the Beyond Bitcoin Show. Today is May the 25th, 2019. Strong hand, unconfiscatable. Bitcoin is the next Bitcoin. Personal responsibility is a new counterculture. Oh, we'll be talking about that. Deferral of gratification. You better believe it. On this show, we talk about that. Conviction. Avoid mediocrity. Okay, all you Canadians out there, I guess you're basketball fans now. Pound that like button. All right, check out This Week in Bitcoin. That was yesterday's show. We had two great guests on. We were talking Lolly. We were talking Edward. It was a fun time. And remember, this show is the Beyond Bitcoin show. If you're new, because there are a lot of new people coming on these days, on this show, I talk a little bit about Bitcoin, but then I go into subject matters like philosophy, the Meister philosophy, the strong hand philosophy, how you can save your money so you can get more Bitcoin, how you can be in motion so you don't complain all the time and sit around and waste away. So again, check out techvault.com to see the This Week in Bitcoin show, and disruptmeister.com, all my shows, sportsmeister.com, all the podcast versions of the show, and follow me on Twitter at techvault, TECHBALT. If you have questions and you're watching this live, type in Bitcoin Meister so I see your question. Try to ask questions that pertain to the subject matters, maybe a little Bitcoin, but we're going to be going beyond Bitcoin. So yeah, this shirt says Satoshi. Like Satoshi Nakamoto. Do you know who that dude is? No one knows who he is. Pound that like button. Now, here is an article from Fox News of all places. Just AOC and Bernie Sanders want to turn the post offices into banks. Okay. Yeah, that is so old school. That is so the opposite of what the Bitcoin overlay is about, what the new world is about, okay? The post office, come on, guys. The thing that is, if there's a thing of the past, the post office is a thing of the past. There shouldn't be any, we shouldn't be paying for post offices now, the tax slaves of the United States of America. It's pointless. It should all be electronic. Yeah, my 96-year-old grandma likes to get mail. She still does it that way, but there are a lot more people who are not 96 than are 96 and over, okay? And what this proposition, turn the post offices into banks, government banks. I mean, again, we're into Bitcoin. They're going in the complete other direction. AOC and Bernie Sanders, this just shows you how out of touch or how you do not want to get caught up in the politics soap opera, because these people are living in another world. They're living in 1957, okay? Well, let's try communism. It's going to work, sure. Yeah, let's have government-run banks that are at our post office. I mean, where are they coming from on this? Again, it's all soap opera, but people are going to buy into it. Oh, have it all the poor people. The poor people need banks and post offices. They don't need that, okay? And this show, we're going to get into wants and needs, because most Americans, they're blowing all their money on wants, not on needs. They need to prioritize. And government too should prioritize, but the whole nature of government is to waste, spend. So there's an example right there. Don't get caught up in that soap opera. You just say, okay, I'm going to be the Bitcoin overlay. You go backwards, go put banks and post offices. I'll send electronic money through the internet, this amazing thing called the internet, and I'll be in the Bitcoin overlay. So very interesting contrast of worlds there. Hey, she's pretty, and a lot of people follow her. Mindless people. All right. Hey, you could be an 80%er. You will get your post offices and government-run banks, and you'll have to deal with that. And you will not be in control of your own life. Trust me, if you like that kind of thing. Moving on. This is a tweet from Matt Odell, and this speaks to the whole, being a government follower or being an independent thinker. The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing so many of you that privacy in itself is a crime. Wake up, have some self-respect, and pound that like button. Yes, I added the pound that like button part, of course. But certain people are like, well, why do you need privacy? Why? I'm not doing anything wrong. You're not doing anything wrong. The government, what are you trying to hide? No. That's so backward. That's so being a follower and letting other people no one has a right to know what you're doing in your personal time. No one. Why should the government know how much money you have and who you send money to? What the heck? They're not our masters. I mean, some people are in total debt. Some people are used to being debt slaves. So, why not have another master besides the debt masters? Let the government be my other master and let them know everything about me and let me sell myself to companies, all my personal information, and I'll get a nice free shiny thing with a pretty face on it. No, again, privacy is it is not evil. It is something that should be cherished. And don't fall into the peer pressure of what do you have to hide? It's not. Who cares what I have to hide? Okay, it's none of your business. I'm not fitting into that meme of like, who cares about privacy? What do you have to hide? All right. So something that I've been, I guess, trying the last few months in terms of eating, because again, this is Beyond Bitcoin show. We talk about health stuff. We talk about the crazy stuff I eat. It's not crazy. I sometimes cook food in the pan and let's say it's chicken and some lamb or something like that. And I can't eat it all. So I just leave it in the pan, put the top on it, put it in the freezer. Put it in the refrigerator. Next day, I bring it up and it has a nice layer of fat on top of it, white fat. And that's the stuff that fills you up, people. Fat isn't bad. And then I eat it cold. And my God, it tastes better cold. The chicken, the sheep, the turkey, it's sitting in that fat. Oh, it tastes great cold. And I think it fills you up faster. Hey, I'm just saying that, I'm just adding that to people. If you think you're eating too much, maybe you should eat your food cold. Save your leftovers, of course, save your leftovers, and then don't heat it up again. Eat it cold. I think it fills you up. It fills you up more. It tastes better. I think it tastes better. Hey, that's just a Meister opinion there. People ask me about all my food techniques. Well, that's another technique I've been doing lately. And yeah, I really do think coming out of the refrigerator, embedded in that white fat, and you combine it with some onion. I got some onion there. Oh, it tastes very good, very filling. All right, so let's go back to let's go to debt here. Oh, I see Robert Hardebeck is in the chat, and I want to just say, Robert and I hung out in Long Beach. What a great guy. Robert, thank you so much for all your hospitality. Thank you for showing me around Long Beach. Long Beach is beautiful. Again, I'm from Baltimore, so some people might not like it's safer than Baltimore. And I guess it's got that nitty gritty blue collar feel to it like Baltimore does. So I always like places that kind of remind me of Baltimore. But I've been to Long Beach before, but I never got a tour of the Queen Mary, which is a boat that's docked there, a famous boat. So Robert, thank you very much. And also again, you guys can check out me, Twitter, TECHBALT. I've retweeted some of the clips of me speaking at the Bitcoin event in Long Beach. It really was a fun time. And Gaston, thank you for putting on the event. And Robert, it's great Robert is such a hardworking guy too. He works 12-hour shifts at his job, like 6 days a week. Hopefully he will be retired soon. He has had to learn a lot of things the hard way. And guys, the information I share here, so you don't have to learn some of the things the hard way that he did. Remember, value your wealth in Bitcoin, not in women. Hint, hint. He had a little issue with that once. So moving on. Hi, Robert. We're here. Americans can't prioritize their spending here. Nearly 25% of Americans are going into debt trying to pay for necessities. Americans have an average of $6,506 in credit card debt. Because what happens is a lot of Americans, they see all these flashy things that they want and they spend it on the wants. They spend their entire salary on the want, but then they need to eat. They need to pay for clothes sometimes. You need to get clothes. I need to get new shoes. So they throw that on the credit card, okay? Americans learn. You don't have to buy everything that's advertised on TV. It's just, I can't believe a lot of people like despise marketers, and I don't. I love marketers, but I don't fall for it. Okay, it's a way to spread the word. I think there's some people out there, they just like, they see an advertisement, I must buy, must get the Coca-Cola, must get the shiny new car, the shiny new pants. It's ridiculous. It's just a simple matter of prioritizing and understanding what a want is. and what a need is, okay? And it's just like, we live in such a wealthy, comfortable country, the most powerful country in the history of mankind. The people have lost complete track of this, and they don't know what a want and a need is anymore. I mean, which shows you that, hey, it's a great time to be alive if people can get that lost in reality and lose complete track of reality. Again, okay, so, and again, it's the cost of fitting in. It's the cost. People, they prioritize wants over needs because they want to fit in, and fitting in is totally overrated. It gets you into debt, and these situations, you're not able. You end up a person saying, "I don't have any extra money for Bitcoin." Adam, how did you do it? How did you save money? I didn't buy ridiculous things. I didn't buy everything that I saw advertised on TV. In fact, I stopped watching TV like 5 years ago, basically. But I don't fall for things I see on the street too. There's a lot of flat here in LA. Every new movie is advertised. When was the last time I paid to see a movie? When was the last? It was the last time I was paid to see a movie was when I was valuing my wealth in women, which was quite a long time ago. All right, moving in. So again, more on the cost of fitting in. This is an amazing tweet. Okay, these were the people complaining about why they are in debt. They want debt holidays. Okay, and they have no one to blame but themselves. Why? And this is why I'm in great shape financially, because I don't spend like this. And why 80%ers are not. This is the life of an 80%er, what I'm about to share with you. And she says, I'm curious what people my age are currently paying for bills/essentials. I'll start. Phone, $180 a month. Car insurance, $235 a month. Student loans, $320 a month. Health insurance, $95 a month. Car payment, $563 a month. Subscription services, $172 a month. Meal prep service, $200 a month. Gas, $100 a month. So almost $1,900 a month on most of that stuff, which is completely wretched and wasteful. Now, let me tell you, Adam Meister doesn't have a phone. Adam Meister doesn't have a car. Adam Meister doesn't have a student loan. Adam Meister doesn't have health insurance. Adam Meister doesn't have a car payment. Adam Meister doesn't know what a subscription service even is. Adam Meister doesn't have a meal prep service because he knows how to make himself his own food. How spoiled can you be? You need to pay someone $200 a month for a meal prep service? Gasoline, I don't spend anything because I don't have a car. So that's $0 to that person's $1,900. And that person would be the first person that says, "Oh, Adam, how do you afford to live in Airbnbs and not have a full-time house in Baltimore and buy Bitcoin?" No, it's because I don't spend like a maniac like you do, lady. And check out that thread. It is linked to below. Everything I talk about in this video is linked to below. But look at that thread. Look at the other stories other expenses people share on there, okay? Completely ridiculous. So a lot of people, someone says health insurance, $95 a month. Where? Good point there, Moonfuel. Good real point. You're absolutely right. $95 for health insurance a month seems pretty cheap. Maybe she gets part of it through her where she works, because you're absolutely right. Health insurance, if I was paying health insurance, it's like over $400 a month. I just gave it up. I'm healthy. I know what I'm doing here. And I'm not even in the United States half the darn time, more than half the time. So what's my health insurance going to do me in Israel? Not too well. Anyway, but besides that, story time. People like to hear some on the show, on the Beyond Bitcoin show. Sometimes people are entertained by some of my funny stories from Baltimore in the past. So I'm going to share you just a funny story I was thinking about the other day. Now, a lot of you know I'm not a big fan of dogs. I like cats. I actually now prefer not to have any animals around me, but I do like cats more than dogs, okay? And some dogs don't like me. And when I'm running on the street, I hate running into a person walking their dog. They usually they're not holding it very tight, and it tries to jump on you. And people are very irresponsible with their dogs when they're walking them. Okay, in America at least, they defecate everywhere. They don't pick it up. And I will say this: men seem to be a little bit more in control of their dogs. Women don't realize that the dog can jump away. They don't have the strength. They're not prepared to hold the thing back. Okay, but and this story kind of pertains to that a little bit. So when I owned my house quite a few years ago now, in Reservoir Hill, it was 3 floors, and I lived on it was 3 units, and I lived in the second floor unit, and the third floor unit, a woman lived in, a girl. She was younger than me, and she's a friend of mine. And it could get hot in the summer in Baltimore, and she had a dog. She had a big dog who didn't like me at all. I mean, I think the dog bit me in the butt once, okay? And so the dog didn't like me at all. And his name was Luca. Luca, the half pit bull, half German shepherd, okay? So there was a little joke about the German side, why he didn't. Anyway, so why he didn't like me, but that's just not for now. But so one hot summer day, it was so hot. It was so hot. And I'm just in my place on my computer, sitting in my boxers, no shirt on. And I hear above me, was my unit extended out further. So the third floor unit could walk on top of my roof. And I heard all this, I heard water and I heard footsteps and laughing. I don't know. I was like, what the heck is going on up there? I got to go check what's going on up there. And so I go up, just wearing my boxers, literally just living my box, walking up there in my boxers, walk up the fire escape. And I see the girl is up there and she's in her bikini. She's got the water and the hose. She's wetting herself, jumping around, wetting the dog, dancing around. The dog is dancing and the dog sees me. Okay. And the dog starts sprinting toward me on a wet roof. Okay. And I'm on a fire escape, a wooden fire escape, which of course I had never updated, which was from the prior owner. So it was always scary to walk up this fire escape too. So Luca, the dog, the half German Shepherd pit bull, is flying toward me. And I know, oh my God, this is not going to end well at all. So sure enough, he could not stop himself because the roof was wet. And he comes flying toward me, onto the fire escape, out of control. He's totally out, and this is a big dog. So I catch him kinda, and one hoof hits my head, another hoof goes down my boxer hole, and it's like down there with my, and it starts to like de-pants me almost, okay? But I'm like, this is a living thing. I don't like this living thing at all, but I'm going to save it. Okay. So I caught, it's touching my, you know what, it's ripping into my head, but he totally got calm. He was in my arms and he just stopped because he knew, I think he realized that, you know, he was going to die, that he was out of control. But usually this dog was totally wild around me. But for a few seconds there, he's kind of in my head. And she comes running to, are you all right, Adam? Are you all right? And I was like, yeah, I'm like taking his hoof out of my pants, touching my whatever. And, you know, then the top of my head was bleeding and stuff because the foot went across. So you got to go to the hospital. Of course, I don't need to go to the darn hospital. I'm not paying for ridiculous seeing me at the hospital. Just got a little cut in my head or whatever. So, yeah, got Luca off of me. I saved this dog's life, all right? The dog I didn't like at all. Girls in bikinis on my roof, me half naked, dog hoofed down my pants. That was Baltimore. That was my life at that house. There were many fun stories like that. Luckily I was not hurt, and the dog was also fine. Amazing. Pound that like button. So that's a story from some of my old Baltimore days, way before Bitcoin, when I was a party animal, to say the least. But still, I don't like dogs. Anyway, and I don't think Luca is now. I think he's deceased at this point. And the girl, she's still alive. She's not in Baltimore anymore. All right, so let's talk about their story time. Okay, that's over. Story time part of the show is over. I noticed Omar Crypto. He was also at the event, and he did a video interview of me, and he put it on his channel, which is very nice of him. And I, of course, checked out the video, and some people were like, oh, Adam and Omar on the same channel. And I started reading some of the comments, and it is amazing how people can come up with false memories. There's one guy saying he remembers my libertarian videos I used to make before I made Bitcoin videos, which is like a total false memory. Check out the archives. I made Baltimore videos before I made Bitcoin videos, okay? And I was... You know, there's always been a little bit of these shows are the most libertarian shows that I have. And I didn't start doing these shows until like a year ago. And then you have another guy saying, oh, yeah, Adam, isn't he the guy that sold his Dash Masternode? What? Dash Masternode? I mean, Bitcoin Meister? Where you? So this is my point. They are so, and they, you know, it's funny. The guy that had the false memory of me being having libertarian videos before I made Bitcoin videos. He said, oh, I've been watching Adam since before he made Bitcoin videos. Before 2013, you were watching me, dude. You're not even from Baltimore. Yeah, sure. Again, and these are just that guy is a guy who has come up with the most wild of conspiracy theories. Okay, I'm not going to embarrass who the guy is, but again, it just shows you, internet people can say things. They can think they are telling the truth. False memories are all over the place out there. be very careful, people. Be very careful. Go to the horse's mouth. Try to, watch the real videos. We're going to get that in a second with some accusations that were made against Ben Shapiro. But yeah, false memories are like the norm on the internet. But there's just a lot of short-term thinkers out there. So a lot of guys that aren't into thinking and just they believe certain things and they want you to fall into their narrative and they want to think of you in a certain way. Something that I heard the other day on, I forgot what's his face's channel, on Thinking Apes channel. This basic premise: don't become your illness. Don't get stuck. Don't become your label. A lot of people on the serious side, they might have a hard time falling asleep, and they become obsessed with that. And that is what they become. Everything revolves around that, their illness, and you become depressed. You get stuck that way. Another thing: don't become your label. A lot of people, they value being a Democrat so much, and then everything they do in life revolves around being a Democrat and showing the world that they're a Democrat. It's a complete waste of time. Do not get stuck under a label, whether it be because you just end up. You can believe in a certain type of. You can have certain problems. You can have a certain philosophy, but just don't become that. Don't become it where everything you see everything in that light. Everything you do, you want to fit in to that label. You want to make sure that everything you're doing, everything that you say fits under that label. The way you criticize people is because of that label. You become obsessed with it and you become stuck. You're not in motion. So yeah, don't get stuck. Don't become your label. Don't become your illness, especially because there are a lot of sick people who are sick and maybe they have mental problems, maybe they have physical problems. Well, you should try to overcome those things. Try to find solutions to them instead of like, it's sad. It's sad how people get stuck in their illnesses. Anyway, so last week I talked about Propecia, men buy Propecia to regrow their hair. And I definitely know someone, and I have read stories about people where it drops your testosterone level in a very bad way. And that people end up, guys who want to regrow their hair, that's a serious step. And they really want to regrow their hair. But the ones who fall into that depression caused by the lack of testosterone, caused by under certain circumstances, they don't even care about their hair anymore. That's how much this affects them in a negative way. Now, someone commented in the comments section that the Propecia has been very good for him. And yes, I also know men that the Propecia has totally worked for them, okay? But again, if it's only, and some people say it's 1% of the male population is going to have an effect where it lowers their testosterone and they're going to become depressed. And then people say that you can recover from that if you stop taking the Propecia. I have heard from men that have not been able to, I read online from dudes who say they have not been able to recover from it. And this is a serious, serious matter. Low T is a real thing. It brings depression. Avoid soy foods also, okay? But for me, it would not be worth it I would definitely try natural mechanisms before going on something that could lower your testosterone. It could get you into a situation where you would become depressed. Because again, people are over the general population, so I've heard, is experiencing low testosterone for a lot of reasons. They're not getting off the couch. Your testosterone, you keep it up by exercising, by eating healthy, by not eating soy food, by not doing drugs, by not drinking, by a lot of things. And we are in this spoiled society where people are eating a lot of soy, where people are just sitting around playing video games every day. And so keep your T levels up. It's something to monitor. If you are ever feeling depressed and you're in your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, you might want to get that checked out. And then you might want to become active again. And again, I cannot recommend Propecia, but I will tell the truth. There are guys it does totally work for, and there are no side effects. How long has it's finasteride is the real name of the drug, finasteride. How long have men been using that to regrow their hair? What are the long-term effects? It's been less than 20 years. I think it's been out, maybe only 15 years. I don't know. But what are the 50-year results on a guy who starts taking Propecia when he's 29? I don't know. Again, another thing with baldness, and again, a lot of you are going to say, Adam, it is easy for you to say this, and I guess it is. A lot of guys just think if I lose all my hair, I'm not going to get any women. I'm not going to get any women. You just don't think that. There are plenty of women that will like you that are bald, okay? Don't value your wealth in women that much so that you're willing to make yourself get sick over it, okay? And again, no matter what I say, there are going to be guys that are going to worry about losing your hair. It is a natural thing. It's because of your testosterone. You're a man. It's better to have testosterone than not to have it. So here we go. Jojo Wave says, Bitcoin Meister, did you know that long distance running can decrease testosterone as well? Yes, I did, Jojo Wang. That's why you cannot that's why part of the reason I did cut it down. If you do more than 25 miles a week, there can be problems. There's no benefits after 25 miles a week. Okay. And I'm sure that's probably when you start running into probably a little bit of testosterone issues too. Who knows? I don't want to FUD on over 25 miles a week. I run 20 miles a week, which that's not really long distance. But the truth of the matter is, Jojo Wang, if you do interval training where you just do sprints, that does increase your HGE, your human growth, HGH, your HGH and your testosterone. HGH plays a role in testosterone, I believe. I'm not a doctor, but I also do interval training at least once a week. It's my sprint day. I sprint 15 times in a row as hard as I can, 70 yards. Okay. And to do interval training properly with sprinting, you only need to do it 8 times in a row. Okay. And depending how old you are, you don't even have to do it that much. It'll help your testosterone and stuff. So again, you look at the sprinters versus the long-term, the marathon runners, and you see the difference. The sprinters are thicker men. They're thicker men. They pumped up their testosterone. These guys who run marathons all the darn time, they're very skinny and they clearly do not have as much testosterone. So your point is valid there. Your point is valid. And I don't run marathons. I don't do it. And there's other reason I don't run a marathon is because after 20 miles, there starts to be a minor heart damage, which you recover from like once the race is over. But every so often, a person will die from a marathon. They'll be totally healthy after those first 20 miles because they'll damage their heart and a little bit too much, and they won't recover. They'll just have a heart attack and die. So no, people do ask me, Adam, do you run race? No, I don't run races. I just run 20 miles a week. And I don't consider that really long distance running. And of course, I make sure I do my interval training once a week. And I do exercises every single day that involve, losing your breath, like type of, that's the stuff that increases your testosterone. These quick exercises, real quick stuff, that you lose your breath, real quick, but like what is, I think, again, the long distance running, you're not losing your breath. It's just this continual breaking down, I guess. I cannot explain it scientifically there. Please look it up, people. Don't rely on me. Look it up online. You can read the difference between long distance runners and sprinting. But very, very good question there. You followed the rules and you asked a question that pertained to the subject matter. So I commend you on that. Thank you very much for that question, Jojo. Now, we talked about the false memories and we're talking about the Propecia. We'll talk about that next time. I want to say Ben Shapiro, yesterday on Twitter, I noticed that all these people were ripping on him for some quote. And so then I watched the actual show, taking completely out of context. 80%ers on Twitter, on social media, and you can love or hate Ben Shapiro. That's not the point of what I'm sharing right now. People just love to take these quotes out of context and go wild at them on social media to get themselves attention. Okay. And it's slander. It really is slander. So people be very careful when you see these things trending. I mean, most of the time, I think people will just take a quote out of context just to get hits on Twitter. It's hysterical. It just shows the hysterical reactionary world that we live in today. And people are rewarded. They get Twitter followers that way. Be a 20%er. Don't play that game. You don't have to. You can be in the Bitcoin overlay. You don't have to get into this hysterical overreaction world that dominates social media. Oh, wait, how many sats per byte for a transaction fee? Fees are high, says Corey K. $2 he sent. Corey K., you are incorrect. They are not high. They are high if you need to. Do you need to send the stuff right now? Follow Tone Bays. I'm going to talk about this on tomorrow's show, Corey K. So thank you for the $2. But go to Tone Bays' Twitter feed right this second and go to the bet he had with King of the Trolls. And Tone Bays was able to send some Bitcoin for like 5 cents. And it took 12 hours or something like that. And King of the Trolls bet him like $5,000. You can do it. Right? The people who say that are fudding on Bitcoin. If you need to send something right now, and I don't know who needs to send something right now, then you pay whatever, $3 or whatever it is, which isn't, I mean, for a $50,000 transaction, that isn't very much. I mean, no. So there is no problem. For me right now, there is no problem with the cost of sending Bitcoin at all. And you don't have to do it as cheap as Tone did it either. But for those of you that are interested in that type of FUD, go to Tone Bays' feed right now and see what happened. See what happened there. Okay. Mempool only has 3 MBs of transactions. 25 sats should do it, says Jake. Hey, I mean, again, I've had to send things relatively recently, and there were no problems. This is the thing, Corey K. This is all cyclical. When Bitcoin was rising back in 2016, and especially in 2017, that this was the FUD that people were throwing out there. And it's just starting again. And amazingly enough, it's King of the Trolls again. Amazing, isn't it? He just doesn't stop. I mean, he's a broken record, and people are going to fall for it. So maybe Bcash will pump again. Enough 80%ers believe him. But no, we've been through this before. This time around, we've got SegWit, we've got the Lightning Network. Let's see. But again, do we live in a world where people need to use Bitcoin to buy coffee, and they need to send it immediately? So the barista that you're drooling at all day, that you're only buying the coffee because you like to drool at her, that we live in a world where she needs to get it immediately. No, she doesn't need to get Bitcoin immediately, and she's not going to get it from you immediately, but she's never going to get it from you. But she'll pretend you'll get it. That's how she leads you on, and you spend you. There are guys out there that are ridiculous enough that they no, I need to spend my $5 worth of Bitcoin on my barista. I need to impress her because she'll wink at me and touch me or something. No, guys, we don't live in that world yet where Bitcoin is needed for, or Bitcoin is even wanted for transactions like that at all. Where it's where the seller needs the Bitcoin right away. It's again, but they're building the Lightning Network, which will solve that issue when that comes around. I do not know when people are going to want to spend crypto for little things, or when businesses are going to want crypto for little things, when the baristas that you're wasting your time on are going to want to be paid that way. Now, of course, once the barista moves up in the world and has wasted all her life on Chad, and he has left her, then she actually will need Bitcoin for the next business she's in, that involves privacy and the tricks that she's turning. Anyway, pound that like button, because you shouldn't be pounding her once she gets into that business. Now, moving on. And by the way, I love that I can say all this stuff. You can't take my Bitcoin. You can't fire me. And dudes who don't like this, who like to tweet out that Adam Meister says things like this, please be my guest. Quote everything that I just said. Put it into your own video and put it out there on Twitter or on social media and say, oh, Adam Meister says these politically incorrect things about women. Go ahead, make my day. It will bring many more people here, and many more people will find out about the Bitcoin overlay and what this really means. It means having a store of value where you can say anything you want to, where you can go anywhere you want to. And hey, if you think and if you think it's for daily transactions, hey, this is where the big boys play. You can think that yourself. Anyway, moving on. Let's see. Because it's funny, because there still are people out there who try to threaten me that way. Look, oh, you said that? I'm going to spread the word. Again, go ahead, make my day. It's not like I don't know what I'm saying. Do you not know what you're saying when you make a video? I know exactly what I'm saying. Okay, when I'm talking about women, I don't care. I don't care. Put it out there. Even my friend, put it out. Guys want to hear this. The people want to hear the truth. They want to see someone who has true freedom, who doesn't worry about getting fired and all that and being shamed and not fitting in. I am living the life. So again, I encourage everyone who thinks that I'm such a big bad meanie saying things about women, poor women, put it out there. Put it out there. Get me kicked off of you. It doesn't matter. You can't take the Bitcoin, baby. You can't stop the Bitcoin Meister. It is freedom. Pound it. All right. Now, moving on. God, I don't even know how long has this been. This show's been 34 minutes now. Okay, everything is not for everyone. How about this? Yeah, everything is not for everyone. That is something that I thought about lately. You know, there's a lot of people that are evangelize, they proselytize their religions and stuff. They don't get that concept. You know, they might think Christianity is the best thing in the world and they got to spread it to the whole world. But guess what? It's not for everyone. It's not for everyone. There's so many people that think, you know, just because they do something a certain way, it's for everyone. I realize with Bitcoin, it's not going to be for everyone. 80%ers are going to do what they're going to do. Okay. They're going to want to fit in, you know. Fitting in definitely is not for everyone either, which is great. But there's a whole lot of people that fitting in. But there are people like me who don't want to fit in anymore, who like freedom. Freedom isn't for everyone, okay? So, you know, if someone's not accepting what you're talking about, don't force it on others. Don't proselytize. Don't say you must convert and everything, and something like that. So yeah, not everything is for everyone, but there's a positive side to that too. So you don't get stuck trying to convince people because not everyone is going to live a happy life, okay? There are those control freaks out there that think everyone should be equal. No, equality is not for everyone. It's not for, if everyone was equal, there would be an amazing, you'd be forcing that on everyone. And it's not for everyone. People can enjoy themselves any way they want to. Remember that just because someone is, and that's not, in the United States, we have 50 states. We have 50 places to experiment. So in one state, you might be able to kill your kid or whatever. And again, that isn't for me. Killing your kid that inside of you, you know, killing your baby, that is not for me at all. I am totally against that. I'm totally against any type of killing. But apparently in some states, they think that's awesome. So they can do that there. And then, you know what, if you don't like that, I mean, it is horrible. Killing is bad, but you in your state, you do your thing where we have experiments. But there are some people who think like, well, I want to be able to kill a baby in every state. No, I mean, it's not for everyone, dude. It's not for everyone. And again, I want to stress out there that it is morally wrong and that you should say, you know what? I am totally against this. I am moving out of the state. You know, if your feelings are that strong on it, then you move out of the state. You're not going to support them anymore, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. Now, again, and there's only a certain amount of time you can waste though on the people who want to, you know, kill their babies and stuff. There's only a certain amount of time you can waste on that. And to try to convince them because they're going to kill their babies. They're going to do it. It's horrifying. Yeah, it is horrifying. But again, that is the most extreme side of things, that not everything is for everyone. All right. Okay, moving on. All right, that's for another. There are a lot of people out there, so many doomers. You know, when they talk about the problems of the world today and the economic problems, and they're like, and the only answer for the government. The only answer for the government is to go to war. We are on the verge of war. They always go to war to solve the problem. Dudes, if you've got that mentality where you're just waiting for the end of the world and waiting for the next war, you are so not in motion. No, that isn't the solution to everything. And that isn't the default of government. Okay, I don't like government very much. I mean, you just saw that I don't like you know, some of the beliefs of some people in government in terms of babies and everything. But no, their default is not to like, oh, well, everything's going wrong with the economy. Let's go to war. No, they've got other much simpler ways like printing the dollar into oblivion. 80%ers fall for anything. All right. So there's a lot more peaceful solutions they have. Now, again, it involves theft. Taxation is theft. Inflation is theft, obviously, but it's not always, oh God, I can't do anything. Oh, it's so bad. Everything's leading up to the next big war. It's not, dudes. It's not. It's not. And don't worry about it. You're wasting your time. What you should be doing is getting in motion, being productive, getting your Bitcoin, and not worrying about these doom scenarios. People get caught in. They love to hear doom scenarios. They love to watch doom channels. It's just a waste. And I think a lot of people end up regretting it after 10 years, or 5 years. So Jake McKay said, Bitcoin Meister, great point. Visa takes a month plus to clear for merchants. Yeah, that's a good point. Can't stop the Meister, Dean said. Yes, you can't stop the Meister. there was a song that, oh God, it sounded like that. What was it? I can't, I guess from my day. Anyway, but so we got that type of doomer, which is more associated with like with a guy in his 30s or 40s or 50s, just like, you know, stacking, just waiting for the end and not be. But young people, they are doomers now also. Young people blame climate change for their small 401k balances. Now, first of all, who cares about 401ks? If you're a young person, first of all, you shouldn't be obsessed with climate change, that you think the world is going to end, that you have no future, and that you should just spend. That's just as bad as the doomers. That's just as bad as the doomers. You're just coming up with excuses of why you're not productive, of why you're not saving, okay? It's just this climate change thing that people are taking way too seriously. Many young people today think civilization may not exist when they're of retirement age. Here are ways to get them to invest for the future. Now, this article, no. They don't give good ways to invest for the future, okay? People have to realize they cannot make excuses and that we live in this very comfortable society, and that, you know, save. Be a true long-term thinker. Don't get caught up in this paranoia like, oh, long-term, there is no long-term. No, there is a long-term. Make a plan for success. Don't use like, oh, the world will be flooded in 50 years, so I'm not gonna save a thing. Now again, don't get in the 401ks. Get in the Bitcoin. That's your long-term play there. And hey, if you still want to make climate change your hobby or whatever, you're free to do that, okay? Don't let it put you into the situation that this article is talking about. You become a doomer. You're not in motion. You're so worried, you're not saving, and you just go into debt, and you just blame climate change on the whole thing, which is completely ridiculous. All right, the Halving Show sent me 20 Norwegian krona. The next 20 years of Bitcoin supply video is out. Good, dude. Thank you very much for the 20 Norwegian krona. Watch the Halving Show. He obviously has a show about the next 20 years of Bitcoin supply, which of course I am very excited about. And again, I get excited by savings. So should you. So people don't get excited by savings. They want the big flashy stuff. Again, those are the 80%ers. They can go where they can have the flashy sets and graphics and the baristas and all that stuff, just drooling, just falling for anything the baristas tell them to do. It's just guys, you are pathetic. The guys who fall for that are pathetic. And again, that's why I commend women. Women aren't going to fall for the barista thing. So women, this is your opportunity. Again, I said this on a previous show. You buy the Bitcoin that the guys that just drool over internet baristas throw their Bitcoin at. Okay, you buy the Bitcoin that they're giving away to get ridiculous ICOs or whatever they're trading it in, or for like a second to look at the cheek of a barista on YouTube. But anyway, Halving Show, I am excited about the next 20 years. I talked about, I believe it's in the year 2032 or 2036 that every day there are only going to be like 56 new Bitcoin produced. So by that point, if you have like 57 Bitcoin, my God, you'll have more Bitcoin to your name than is produced, new Bitcoin that is produced in a day. Maybe you talk about that in your show. People should check out your channel because I admire you focusing on sound money type aspects of Bitcoin, the golden hold aspects of Bitcoin. And Brian Moore says, love this video. Dude, pound that like button if you love this video. I love that you love this video, dude. Pound it. All right. Now we'll talk about that next time. Now we'll talk about Beto. Beto, I made some predictions about Beto. I thought he was going to be the hottest, greatest thing if he entered the race. And guess what? I was wrong. He got outplayed. He was too white. He was trying to pretend to be Hispanic. That was a really good take on him because, to pretend you're a victim, pretend you're a minority and everything. That's really cool today. Everybody needs to be a victim. Everybody needs to be a minority. And I thought he was going to be able to pull that off because most people just look at his name. They think he's Hispanic. He's Irish. Well, he got outplayed by Pete. What's the mayor of South Bend, Mayor Pete. Mayor Pete is gay. So that beats, even though Mayor Pete is pure white, he is gay. And so this has propelled him way past Beto. Beto is getting destroyed by this guy. There's no room for Beto when you got Mayor Pete out there. Okay, so that's the big thing right now. And Mayor Pete is he's a very smart guy. He was in the army. He gets to do. I mean, he's clearly this has been his dream to run for very high office. He's planned his life this way. And again, Mayor Pete clearly was a long-term thinker as a young guy. I mean, he's planned this out very nicely. And he's only the mayor of freaking South Bend, Indiana, for God's sakes. And he might become the next vice president of the United States. He's not going to become the next president of the United States, but he could, I guess. Greater chance that he's the next vice president, though, because again, that's his whole pitch, his gimmick, and it's nothing but a gimmick, is that he's gay and he was in the army and he's smart. Now, he's smart is a good thing. But most people overlook that. And again, he's good. He's a total politician. He says all the right things at the same time. He pandered to Al Sharpton, which is a total disgrace. But yeah, whatever. He knows what to do to win that primary. So you're gonna be hearing about Mayor Pete for a while. And so Mayor Pete hey, I was wrong about Beto. You beat me on that one, Mayor Pete. You definitely so, hey, you throw out theories. That's the thing with politics, people. Don't get too much into it. It is a soap opera. But I did introduce most of you to Beto back in September, and you got to see that phenomenon, how the media, or back in August maybe it even was, I don't know, how he almost beat Ted Cruz, which was amazing onto itself, that he was pumped to that level. The media jumped. And again, it just shows you who the media gets into. The media wants a story. They want a gimmick. And this Mayor Pete gimmick, they're into it right now. And guess what? Someone else could come up with a better gimmick between here and because we got a long time before the elections. Unfortunately, I know it's not that long in months, but the way the media makes a soap opera out of this and can waste your time with it, and I've just wasted too much of your time with it, it could seem like very long. So again, who cares who they nominate? You are in the Bitcoin overlay, so it will not affect you. But do not get too caught up in it. Do not get too caught up in it. All right, so here's another Be in Motion thing. I'll share this for another time. There's some things that are going to be linked to below. They're going to be like, wait, Adam didn't talk about in this show. I got to say, this show went way too long at this point. So we'll talk about that in a second. What is this other one here? I'll end it with these two things. This is a thread on Twitter called joy. I'm going to talk about joy. People out there like the joy that I bring. I am a joyous person. I got to say, I put a happy spin on a lot of things. And I do enjoy life. I'm happy. And I think there's a lot of people out there that don't have a joyous vibe to them, whether a lot of people in politics. There's just a lot of people that don't have a positive outlook on life, and try to make yourself more joyful. How about that? And try to listen to people. And again, there are some people that, there's some serious people to listen to. I have no problem with stoicism. We were going to talk about this show, but I'll talk about it next time. To be emotionless, when you're trying to learn facts, that's great. It's great not to have those type of distractions. But there are a lot of people who like to put a negative spin on things, and they don't bring joy. And again, the doomers. So, hey, this is a little tip. You don't have to be happy all the time, but it's good to have joyous sunglasses, I guess, to bring some joy into your life. And if you ever need a little injection of joy, watch my videos. I try to keep it positive. And again, I can get emotional. I can get a little angry here and there and everything like that, and add a little pizzazz to the show. But I always get that big smile on my face. And I think I'm happy that it makes other people happy. People have told me that I've added some joy to their life. So, hey, it's good. You can do it too. Spread it. It is good to be positive, because if you're not joyous, then you're not going to be positive about the future. You're not going to think you have a future. You're not going to be in motion at all. And here we go. This is my my last part of the halving show. Seminar 20 Krona. He said 0.78 BTC block reward in 2032. Strong hand. Yes, that was part of what I was talking about that. Strong hand indeed. So the thing I want to end it with today, though, is a thread from Becoming a Force. I don't know, but it's a good one. It's on Twitter. Become a quitter. Now that doesn't sound good, but let me explain what he says. Become a quitter. Quit playing the victim. Quit blaming circumstances. Quit getting inebriated. Quit the news media. Quit lying to yourself. Quit the facade. Quit sugar. Quit porn. Quit TV. Quit filling your life with garbage. Clear out some space for greatness. Pound that like button, people. I'm Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister. I want to say one more thing. There are a lot of people that were into the whole Shemitah thing. There was a guy who's into a lot of conspiracy theories who talked about Bitcoin at one point, but then started pumping a bunch of altcoins. And in 2016, he made up something called the Shemitah, which is taken from the Old Testament. And oddly enough, today in synagogue, the Torah portion was about the Shemitah, about the real Shemitah, which was simply like every 50 years you forgive debts, or you do something about the farm. The dude totally twisted it to make videos to scare people that the world was going to basically end in 2016, which it did not. But another thing that is talked about in this Torah portion earlier today, was idol worship. And, you should not worship idols. And I found it quite ironic because all the people that believe the nonsense Shemitah stuff, the doom and gloom Shemitah stuff that this guy was selling, they were treating him like an idol. They worshiped him like an idol. There are so many guys who make these scary videos. They want you to fear them, and you end up worshiping them. You have to come back to them every video. What's the latest scare? What's the latest scare, my idol? Tell me what to do. Tell me what to worry about. And again, I find it quite ironic that the guy who twisted around the whole Shemitah, who never bothered to read the Torah portion and to know that the Shemitah no longer applies and whatever, that he didn't catch the whole part about idol worship and that he himself caused others to treat him like an idol and to worship him. And so many of the people who treated that guy down in Mexico like an idol, like a king, like such a knowledgeable thing, they were not in motion. They got stuck. They ended up living in fear. And I hope they've broken out of that spell and are in motion and don't worship the doom idol anymore. Pound that like button. I'm Adam Meister, Bitcoin Meister, Disrupt Meister. Remember to subscribe to this channel, like this video, share this video, check out the links below. Worship no idols. I'm Adam Meister. Pound it. See you guys later. And I'll say hi to you in the chat. And yeah, that means cults. That means guys who claim to be this guy here, Satoshi. Don't go treating them like idols and worshiping them. Seems like a lot of people have a hard time doing that. See ya. Bye.